Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the second day of International Conference on Animal Veterinary Medical Health Sciences, Well-being, Rights, Advocacy, Protection, Conservation, Environment, Ecosystems, Disaster Management, Rehabilitation, and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 on occasion of World Animal Day, World Animal Week, and World Animal Month 2024 with the theme Raising the Status of Animals to Improve Welfare Standards around the globe in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences, and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations, after which we'll be taking up the presentations. So the presenters who have registered for the presentations are requested to share their details as and when they join the conference. In the chat box, the format is available on screen so that you can indicate your presence and availability. Keep your PPT ready in your system. We'll be inviting you as per the request received in the chat messages. There is a registration form which has been raised in the form of polls in Zoom platform. And also there will be a feedback form shared at the end of the session. Kindly mark the attendance by filling up the registration form and the feedback form in the Zoom platform. So today is the second day, and today we are also commemorating World Day for Audiovisual Heritage. Audiovisual archives tell us stories about the people's lives and cultures from all over the world, including the status of flora and fauna across the world, and also the history, past, present, and predicted future of animals, and a lot apart from people's lives and cultures. They represent a priceless heritage, which is an affirmation of collective memory and a valuable source of knowledge since they reflect the cultural, social, linguistic diversity of our communities. They help us grow and comprehend the world we all share. Conserving this heritage and ensuring it remains accessible to the public and future generations is a vital goal for all memory institutions as well as the public at large. The UNESCO Archives has launched the project digitizing our shared UNESCO history with this very goal in mind. The World Day for Audiovisual Heritage, in short known as WDAH, is a commemoration of the adoption in 1980 by the 21st General Conference of the recommendation for the safeguarding and preservation of moving images. The World Day provides an occasion to raise general awareness of the need to take urgent measures and to acknowledge the importance of audiovisual documents. In this way, the World Day also serves as an opportunity for UNESCO's member states to evaluate their performance with respect to implementing the 2015 recommendation concerning the preservation of and access to documentary heritage, including in digital form. As we see, many species have been documented which are no longer exist, or the plight of various animals, plants, and other species have been documented. And we are able to see on various channels like Discovery, Animal Planet, National Geographic, and where we have, and also Planet Earth, and so many channels are there where they are focusing on environment as well as different species and their habitats. We have also seen yesterday various aspects related to animal welfare, and we have certain days also being commemorated. As part of conservation and awareness efforts, and to bring awareness on various species. So we have such commemorations. We'll look at these commemorations and then move on to presentations. So today is also commemorated as National Black Cat Day in US. Black cats needs a little positive PR as their reputation as an omen of bad luck is well known and unearthed frankly. In the lead up to Halloween, National Black Cat Day provides the chance for feline fans to show off their love for the oft malign but always iconic animal. The black cat carries a unique status among the wide batch of a different. In some locales, notably Scotland, Britain, and Japan, the presence or appearance of a black cat is indicative of imminent good fortune and prosperity. Beyond these regions, though public favor of the black cat runs sharply southward, in much of the world, Western world, black cats are considered to be harbingers of misfortune and wickedness. This unfortunate association stems from an image that will be familiar to many readers, which is that of the black cat serving as a companion to potion weaving, spelling casting witches, and everywhere. It depends on various cultures and various regions. So this relationship would prove to hold severe consequences for owners of black cats in America in the early 17th century as the pilgrims established their occupancy on the east coast of the country. They maintained a strict suspicion of anything remotely tied to the perils of witchcraft. The black cat served as a symbol of the supposed evils and satanic sympathies of witches, and as a result, those found harboring black cats would receive harsh punishments. Some would even be sentenced to death. While in general, the fear surrounding the demonic potential of witches has subsided significantly, the black cat will be left wondering why it still must suffer the consequences of damaged collective reputation. According to several animal advocacy groups and adoption agencies, black cats experience lower rates of adoption and higher rates of euthanization relative to other cat breeds. Because of this, National Black Cat Day stands as a fantastic opportunity to subvert these trends and demonstrate appreciation for an animal that would itself use a little love. Unfortunately, black cats are less likely to be adapted according to the PETA. Black cats are two-thirds less likely to be adopted than white cats and are 50% less likely to be adopted than tabby cats. So, whatever you think is best, there are plenty of directions to head in. You can choose to be straightforward, Blackie, ironic snowflake, or referential Felix, among other options. If you already keep a black cat as a pet, today is the day to celebrate it on social media and online media, drawing particular attention to its fur color and hashtag it with a reference to National Black Cat. Some of the most famous cats in popular culture are black cats. Watch a TV show or movie that embraces the black cat. Examples include Salem from Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, Sylvester from Looney Tunes, Snowball from The Simpsons, and many more. If you have been thinking about adopting a cat, then National Black Cat Day is a great day to head to your local animal shelter and bring home a new dark furred friend. So, the myth that black cats bring bad luck persists, but we would like to consider the fact that the opposite may hold true. As mentioned before, in some parts of the world, coming across or owning a black cat is just as likely to bring you good fortune. Why not focus on the positives? Cat fur proves to be a nuisance in homes everywhere. That said, if you happen to own a darker furniture, then a black cat's fur won't show up on it. Just one consideration that can be factored into your decision of what kind of cat to adopt next. Forgetting all their cultural ties, black cats are still just as cute as any other cat. If anything, their dark fur brings greater attention to the color in the eyes, which are often a rich gold due to their higher melanin content. So 26 is also commemorated as National Pitbull Awareness Day. For those who think it's only the retrievers and labs of the world that are the sweetest and cutest, National Pitbull Awareness Day, which is commemorated on the last Saturday of October, failing, or Sunday of, last Saturday of October, falling on 26 this year for those who believe American Pit Bull Terriers are menacing, dangerous animals. For anyone who hasn't taken time to learn about pit bulls are in fact loving, caring pets, National Pit Bull Awareness Day, where we celebrate how loving, kind, and compassionate these dogs truly are, and finally put to bed those terrible misconceptions. In 2007, National Pit Bull Awareness Day was created to help raise awareness for the truth about pit bulls. For nearly 100 years, these four-legged friends were considered loyal, docile, and loving. Parents would often leave their babies on toddlers with their pit bulls while they ran to the store. Please note that no child should be left alone or unattended with a dog of any breed. Over the decades, pitties have unfortunately garnered a reputation as being ferocious, malicious, and dangerous beasts, an image far from the truth and based on the actions of malign humans, not the animals themselves. Pit bulls were born out of a mixture of bulldog and a terrier in England in the 18th century, partly to help with much needed rodent and vermin regulation from the Industrial Revolution, but also because dog fighting was unfortunately popular at that time. That being said, as now extinct, Bull and Terrier breed evolved into American Staffordshire Pit Bull we now know and love. These pups were always considered affectionate, loyal, and great family dogs by breeders and owners alike. So, the easiest way to change your perception about pit bulls is to get one personally, whether it's through a friend who owns one, a shelter, or an event specific to the awareness day. Find a way to play with the pit, and we know you will quickly see that they are not aggressive monsters. They are made out to be. Perhaps one of the most impactful actions you can or you could take would be to give a home to the pit bull in need. They are smart and strong dogs, so training is essential. But once you are done, they are among the most obedient and loving breeds in the country. Whether you are attending an adopt-a-thon or visiting a local shelter, donating food and supplies, or any other officially sponsored event, make sure you share it on social media with the hashtag National Pitbull Awareness Day and celebrating and meeting up to help get positive word out of these loving animals. By expanding education and advocacy, this event hopes to save the lives of countless pit bulls by negating the fear and bias spread by the media. It also hopes to eliminate quick governmental actions and reactions such as breed bans. In doing so, it's expected that fewer people will give up their pets for adoption. More will bring pit bulls home, and a positive cycle will be created. For pit bull advocates, this is a day to start conversation about their beloved animal, sharing facts and figures most people don't know. For example, some tests conducted by the American Temperament Test Society have shown that pit bulls actually have a temperament pass rate of 82.3%, making it among the top five most stable breeds of the country. Now, 10 years plus running, the campaign and events held on the National Pitbull Awareness Day have had great success in the media. It's more common to see the advocacy rather than admonishment for pit bulls, especially as millennial generation finds its footing and continues to adopt rescue pets rather than buying from breeders. So 26th is also commemorated as Hagge Sheep Day, which is celebrated on last Saturday in October. This unconventional day has been around since 2010. Sheep have been around forever and are out there offering you the coziest socks, the warmest sweaters, and some of the tastiest cheese outside of a cattle farm. It's no wonder sheep get a day all to themselves. National Huggy Sheep Day encourages you to appreciate sheep for all the good things they bring into your life. You don't need to own sheep to join the celebration. Visiting a petting zoo or asking your farmer friend to invite you over for some quality hugging time. Sheep are woolly, fluffy, cuddly, and friendly creatures. We got a lot of gifts from the sheep, including wool, meat, lanolin, and other items. Sheep deserve to be cuddled for all, for their hard work. Their efforts often go unappreciated, and this observance seeks to remedy that fact. National Hug a Sheep Day honors all sheep and wild and domestic. This day was created to honor a woolly great named Pumpkin. Yeah, he was a sheep, but not just any of sheep. He was the first lover of the crazy sheep lady of Equinox Farms. Pumpkin was the first sheep she ever owned. A rescue from the bluegrass stockyards in 1992. Pumpkin immediately won over the crazy sheep's lady's heart, seemingly out of nothing. A wonderful friendship soon grew between the sheep and sheep lady. Unknown to both meek souls, theirs was a friendship that would not be forgotten anytime soon. Their legacy lives on even after 22 long years after Pumpkin passed on to the beautiful prairie in the sky. The crazy sheep lady felt charged to celebrate his memory. She commemorated Pumpkin by encouraging people to shower love and attention on all other pumpkins out there. In this way, National Huggy Sheep Day was created and has since gained international attention. Farms host open days to allow people to shower love on sheep. Visit a farm near you today to do your part with their woolly coat. Sheep give the warmest, coziest hugs. Sheep are intelligent creatures with problem solving capabilities. They are almost as smart as pigs and have an IQ similar to cattle. A lamb is a newborn sheep. Sheep can give birth to either a single lamb or twins. Sometimes triplets occur occasionally. Pregnant sheep are more prone to falling over during lambing season. They also have a thick fleece that can cause them to topple over and roll onto their back. Sheep with their bodies in this position may struggle to rise. If there are no farms or petting zoos near you, take a knitting glass and learn how to spin wool, make all sorts of stuff to celebrate the amazing creatures we get this material from. The rectangular shaped pupils allow sheep to see in a range of 270 to 320 degrees. Sheep have smell glands on their feet and in front of their eyes. Sheep can remember about 50 other sheep's faces for 2 years. Sheep can self medicate. Their consumption of plants and other items with no nutritional value helps prevent and treat disease. To break down food, their lower teeth press up on hard palate, no teeth in the upper front jaw. Animals play an important role in human existence where we could be without them. We love all the creatures, either big or small. And National Huggy Sheep Day encourages people to treat animals with love and respect. This doesn't stop with sheep, but also to other lovable creatures. 26 is also commemorated as Muddy Dog Day in UK. And is to simply bring joy to pet owners after COVID-19 caused a lockdown in the UK. So 2021, pet owners shared pictures of their pet canines rolling around in the dirt or jumping into muddy puddles. Joe Mines, founder and owner of Distinctive Pets, came up with that day and encouraged people to share their muddy dog photographs these days leading up to Muddy Dog Day. The day is meant to be a fun to spend with dogs regardless of breed, age, gender, etc. Pet parents and their loving canines are inseparable combination. This heartfelt companionship goes back several thousands of years. Archaeological evidence suggests that dogs were first ever animals that human beings domesticated around 12,000 years ago. Evidence of dog burials have been found in the areas that were a part of ancient Greece. The importance placed on the breed of dog led to creation of lucrative breeding mills to force the selective breeding of desirable breeds of dogs. In fact, toy dogs were developed solely to be suitable pets for humans. Recognizing that selective breeding is harmful to the dogs we claim to love, many people are shifting to adopting dogs regardless of pedigree to combat the existing status quo. The 26th is also commemorated as National Mule Day in US. This day is exactly what it says on the tin. Is meant to celebrate mules. This day is originated in Colombia, Tennessee, and self-determined mule capital of the world. Mule Day can be dated back to 1840. The day was originally referred to as Breeders' Day. Since then, celebrations have spread the This mule happened to be the most common and earliest man-made hybrid animal. The mule, instead of being an originally wild animal that was domesticated by humans, was invented by humans. It is the offspring of a male donkey and a female horse. Donkeys and horses, it is important to note, are two entirely different species with number of chromosomes. Colombia, Tennessee is the mule capital of the world? Mules have an odd number of chromosomes, making them unable to reproduce. Mules tend to be stronger than horses. Mules are fascinating creatures. Mules are 99.9% sterile. The average lifespan of a mule is 50 years. Mules have harder hooves than horses. Mules can kick sideways. Many mules are smaller mules that can weigh under 50 pounds. Mules are fascinating creatures with an interesting history. National Mule Day is perfect opportunity to learn more about them. Mules have been integral to the functioning of human civilization for millennia now, and Nature Mule Day points out the various mules were the first ever animal hybrids created by humans. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations. And presenters who have registered for the presentations can share your details in the chat box so that we can invite you for the presentations. We request the presenters to share your details in the chat box so that we can invite you. Otherwise, we'll move on to the sessions.
The IUCN Red List is the world's most comprehensive information source on threatened species, their status, and their links to livelihoods. More than a list, it's actually a barometer of life, measuring many of the threats faced by the species. From the IUCN Red List, we can find out whether a species is being overhunted, whether it's protected by international law, and whether it's important for human livelihoods. It will tell you if biological traits, such as slow reproductive rate, make a species susceptible to overharvesting, and whether restricted range makes it vulnerable to climate change. As a filmmaker and photographer specializing in threatened species and habitats, I consider the IUCN Red List to be an important resource for guiding my work. I have personally had the great pleasure of seeing and photographing many of the listed species on my various assignments. The IUCN Red List is an incredibly powerful tool used by many decision makers, including governments, NGOs, scientific institutions, and the private sector. For example, it is used to guide scientific research, inform policy and conservation planning, and improve decision making to protect the natural resources on which we all depend. More than 70,000 species have been assessed so far, and the results are disturbing, with many species groups facing a high risk of extinction. "41% of amphibians, 25% of mammals, 13% of birds, 33% of warm water reef-building corals, 63% of cycads, and 34% of conifers are threatened." The IUCN Red List is compiled and managed by a network of more than 8,000 species experts from around the world. Each year more assessments are added, continually improving our knowledge of life on Earth. Our target is to assess a total of 160,000 species by the year 2020. Help us make the IUCN Red List a more complete barometer of life. Help us save threatened species around the world. We cannot do this without your support. Please join us. Visit iucnredlist.org/donate to make a contribution.
When most people hear the term IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, they probably imagine a long list of names. However, the IUCN Red List is actually so much more than just a list. In fact, we like to think of it as a kind of barometer, a barometer of life, if you will. Barometers are instruments that measure atmospheric pressure. By forecasting changes in the weather, they help us prepare for storms and prevent catastrophes. As a barometer of life, the IUCN Red List measures pressures on species. This in turn helps guide appropriate conservation actions to prevent extinctions. Of course, to really understand the global importance of the IUCN Red List, we need to get inside it. The IUCN Red List already includes extinction risk assessments for over 70,000 species, so it certainly is long. However, it's the depth and substance of the list that makes it such an important tool for scientists, educators, conservationists, policymakers, and the public. Inside the IUCN Red List is a wealth of information. Along with its current status, you will discover where the species occurs, what threats are affecting it, what habitats are essential for its survival, and conservation actions needed to protect the species and its ecosystems. You can even encounter good news, such as which species are improving in status and why. Yes, this is a lot of information to compile. Fortunately, IUCN works with a global network of specialists who gather data and carry out assessments. As a barometer of life, the IUCN Red List assesses and monitors the status of entire groups of species. Each year, more assessments are added, continually improving the IUCN Red List's ability to represent the world's biodiversity. Our target is to assess at least 160,000 species, so there is always a lot more work to be done. The IUCN Red List is such a powerful tool that it is used by the Convention on Biological Diversity to help monitor the status of threatened species. Most countries in the world have agreed on a plan to stop biodiversity loss. For them, the IUCN Red List is an essential resource to help highlight where their efforts are succeeding and where they are not. The IUCN Red List is an increasingly diverse and powerful tool, but it can sometimes be misunderstood. For instance, some people believe that it lists only threatened species. In 1964, the IUCN Red List set out to identify only the most threatened plants and animals, but now it contains both threatened and non-threatened species. In fact, it includes all species that have ever been assessed, even those that are widespread. Another common mistake is that if a species is not listed, it must not be threatened. Wrong. Not being on the IUCN Red List only means that the species hasn't been assessed yet. And unfortunately, we don't have enough resources to constantly know the status of every species. Therefore, an unlisted species may be threatened. We just don't know yet. Misconceptions such as these can lead people and organizations to misuse the IUCN Red List. So let's look at an example of the IUCN Red List being used. These people are involved in a roadway project that will cut across an entire region. However, they don't want their project to harm any threatened plants or animals in the area. The IUCN Red List can quickly identify globally threatened species that might occur in the region. Surveys can then confirm their presence in the area, allowing these species to be considered in an environmental impact assessment. Remember, the IUCN Red List tells us about global extinction risk. To refine a species list for a specific area, other tools must also be used. Things like national red lists, local surveys, national conservation priority lists, and consultations with species experts. Now you can see why we call the IUCN Red List a barometer of life. When used properly, it truly is a powerful tool. Learn more about the IUCN Red List at iucnredlist.org.
The ice-capped Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, the Living Museum of Evolution of the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, or the iconic Great Barrier Reef in Australia are only 3 of over 250 natural sites inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage List in more than 95 countries. Natural World Heritage Sites harbour unique and endangered species. Spanning over 3.5 million square kilometres, the sites protect some of Earth's most significant natural assets and vital biodiversity. They are considered to be of outstanding universal value to humanity. 2/3 of the Natural World Heritage Sites are crucial sources of water, and half are essential to prevent disasters such as floods and landslides. They play a key role in climate regulation and carbon sequestration, essential in fighting global warming. They also boost socio-economic development. The sites inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage List are protected under the World Heritage Convention, established in 1972. Thanks to this unique intergovernmental treaty, UNESCO can bring together the world's nations and people to harness the protection of humanity's most exceptional cultural and natural heritage. But UNESCO World Heritage Sites face serious threats such as climate change, invasive species, unsustainable tourism, poaching, mining, and infrastructure projects. UNESCO and its partners work to address these to safeguard our planet's future for generations to come. For example, to tackle the increasing number of emergencies that Natural World Heritage Sites are experiencing, UNESCO provides assistance through the Rapid Response Facility, the world's fastest conservation fund. The Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System has been threatened by offshore oil exploration and coastal development. Thanks to international cooperation under the World Heritage Convention, oil exploitation has been banned, and the site has been removed from the list of World Heritage in danger, benefiting around 200,000 Belizeans who depend on the reef for their livelihood. In South Africa, the World Heritage designation of the Isimangaliso Wetland Park has reduced uncontrolled water extraction for agriculture and improved sustainability in the tourism industry and created thousands of jobs, helping communities move past poverty. Other emblematic sites in Africa have been included on UNESCO's World Heritage List over the past decade, like the Okavango Delta in Botswana, the largest inland delta system of the world, as well as the Songha Tri-National in the Congo Basin. Being the first of its kind, the site encompasses an area in 3 different countries, contributing to transnational cooperation and protection of the last intact rainforests of Africa. In the Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo, major companies have also refrained from exploiting oil and gas due to the global oversight granted by the convention. This led to other commitments to recognize UNESCO World Heritage Sites as no-go areas for extractive industries. These examples represent the ongoing importance of the World Heritage Convention for a global conservation effort, advancing the endeavor to protect shared heritage over generations and support sustainable development, essential for humanity's future on this planet.
Today, only about 17% of land and inland waters and 8% of ocean are formally protected. Much more of the planet needs to be protected and conserved in the right places to prevent mass extinctions, tackle climate change, and secure the health of nature and people. 13 global organizations have forged a partnership to support countries to identify, map, monitor, and conserve our planet's key biodiversity areas, or KBAs, which offer a guide for the conservation of the most important places in the world for a vast diversity of species and ecosystems. From cloud forest dotted with colorful frogs clinging to the rugged Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta in Colombia, to the shimmering Okavango Delta of southern Africa, a wellspring of freshwater for 1 million people, to the first ever key biodiversity area that is home to the endangered sei whale in the waters off the Falkland Islands. Key biodiversity areas represent the largest global network of systematically identified sites of importance for nature and the people who rely on it, which is all of us. We are providing a clear roadmap for leaders to implement nature-based solutions to the biodiversity, climate, and human health crises, identifying sites that should be safeguarded to stop and reverse the loss of biodiversity, including irreplaceable areas that should be left completely wild, while respecting the rights and wishes of indigenous peoples, the custodians of 80% of Earth's biodiversity. Together with governments, civil society organizations, business leaders, indigenous peoples, and local communities, we can protect and conserve the homes of the world's most threatened and unique species and ecosystems, and give them, and us, a real chance of survival.
Climate change, one of humanity's most pressing challenges, compromising our food and water security, affecting our health, risking our economic and social well-being, and undermining the ecosystems on which we depend, threatening our very existence. The global community is mobilizing in the fight against climate change, yet it often undervalues one powerful ally, nature. Nature plays a critical role in reducing carbon emissions and helping nations and communities adapt to a changing climate. Natural ecosystems absorb and store carbon. Oceans absorb over 25% of annual emissions of carbon dioxide, but overburdening them carries its own risks. Terrestrial ecosystems store almost 3 times the amount of carbon found in the atmosphere. Halting deforestation and restoring degraded land can cut carbon pollution equivalent to the yearly emissions of all the cars in the world. Natural ecosystems protect against climate-related disasters. Coastal wetlands in the United States provide $23 billion worth of storm protection each year. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, has been a pioneer in advancing nature-based solutions to climate change for almost a decade, working with local and global communities to implement them effectively. It's time to act. Time to restore forests. Time to safeguard wetlands. Time to conserve oceans. Time to implement nature-based solutions. IUCN, championing the vital role of nature in tackling humanity's greatest challenges. Join us in unlocking the power of nature. No solution is complete without it.
Humanity faces a global crisis. Biodiversity loss and climate change are jeopardizing natural systems and human health. With 75% of the world population projected to live in urban areas by 2050, cities, central to the causes and effects of these crises, must lead transformative change. Some cities around the world are actively addressing challenges both within their borders and beyond, minimizing environmental footprint. Among all these initiatives, nature-based solutions, NBS, have been shown to be effective in restoring biodiversity and ensuring human well-being. Biodiversity assures the resilience of ecosystems that provide citizens and the urban environment with critical ecosystem services. These services take the form of flood and drought control, heat stress mitigation, water purification, nutrient cycling, among others. The Biodiverse Cities project will accelerate action for biodiversity in cities located in the North Sea region by implementing urban investment programs to halt biodiversity loss, build resilience against climate change impacts, support ecosystem services, and promote nature-inclusive cities and societies. 9 biodiverse NBS pilot projects are being implemented across different cities: Aarhus, Bremen, Dordrecht, Växjö, Lille. From instating ecological corridors to restoring urban wetlands and forests. In addition, 3 pollinator cities, Brest, Bergen, Hamburg, will learn from the experiences of the pilot cities and plan the replication of NBS in their cities. Do you want to learn more about how local actions in the North Sea region can create global impact through nature-based solutions? Visit the Biodiverse Cities website.
Com mais de 1 milhão de habitantes, a cidade de Campinas é a maior cidade do interior do Brasil. Ela é centro de uma região metropolitana de 3 milhões de habitantes, localizada no coração de São Paulo, o estado mais populoso e industrializado do país. Uma cidade que se destaca pelas suas universidades, centros de pesquisa tecnológicos, rede de logística e cultura de inovação. Diante do evidente cenário das mudanças climáticas, Campinas vem aumentando seus esforços para integrar a natureza ao ambiente urbano, tornando as soluções baseadas na natureza gestão da cidade. E por esta razão, Campinas foi uma das cidades escolhidas pelo projeto Grow Green, um projeto de intercâmbio de experiências financiado pela União Europeia, que visa criar cidades mais saudáveis, habitáveis e resilientes, investindo em soluções baseadas na natureza. Mesmo com toda a sua dimensão urbana, econômica e industrial, Campinas conserva grandes manchas de áreas verdes. E através de seu plano de implementação de parques lineares, pretende conectar as áreas verdes, urbanas e propiciar o enriquecimento da biodiversidade, o desenvolvimento econômico local e a melhora da qualidade de vida para sua população.
We are all connected to the ocean. From islands to landlocked forests and cities, the ocean regulates our climate, weather, and sets the conditions for life. From the smallest organism to the largest ecosystem, the ocean provides, it nurtures, and keeps us alive. We are the ocean. And the ocean is us. Not long ago, we were able to live in harmony with it. We knew how to find the balance. But we went too far, overexploiting, polluting, and changing the ocean. Today, we suffer the consequences. The ocean is in decline. And we've reached a critical point where life and our own survival is at stake. But the ocean is resilient, and through effective marine protected areas, it can recover. Because the ocean can bounce back if we act now, if we stop taking from it, if we let it breathe. Around the world, people know their ocean, and we need to listen. We must empower communities, bring people together to exchange, find solutions, and work to restore the ocean. Because the ocean's health is our health. And we are running out of time. From Palau to Kunming to Lisbon to Vancouver, we need to radically scale up ocean protection to translate policy into action. This year, let's strongly and effectively protect the ocean, setting us on a path to recovery and safeguarding future generations. So join us, and let's act now for ocean impact.
We are all connected to the natural world we rely on. But by increasing the temperature and changing the chemistry of the ocean, consequences ripple out and have serious natural, social, and financial implications. These dangerous threats are described as hazards, and ocean risk is defined in terms of our exposure and vulnerability to those dangers. Whatever happens in the ocean inevitably affects all of us.
The ocean is an ecosystem, and if you affect that ecosystem, it responds. It's a fluid media and it's all interconnected. So if you change the temperature of the planet, you change the temperature of seawater, which changes the amount of oxygen it holds. If you alter the amount of carbon dioxide on Earth by releasing it into the atmosphere, that affects the chemistry balance in the ocean. Everything's connected.
The ripple effect is defined by connections between the changing climate landscape, changing hazards, and the changing risk landscape. As the ocean warms, modifications occur in multiple forms, each of which is a potential hazard that can cause damage to individuals, communities, businesses, and infrastructure.
And this was in realization that it is all connected.
Disasters from 2017 amounted to over $320 billion. In 2016, only 26% of disasters were covered by insurance. It's very much a key role of the insurance industry to better understand those risks and to utilize our expertise to develop solutions. So we provide funding for PhD students to undertake research in different areas of ocean risk.
And this can lead to massive fish mortalities that can... Right now I'm developing my PhD in assessing the risk to aquaculture from harmful algal blooms. Harmful algal blooms is the increase of single species of phytoplankton or the presence of a highly toxic species that causes a negative effect to the environment, to the aquatic organisms, or to humans. The phytoplankton are consumed by other animals that can be small fish or some shellfish. These can be consumed by humans, and the accumulation of different toxins can represent a really high risk for the human health. Another effect is economics effect, because the increase of the biomass or the amount of a certain phytoplankton can influence in the fish physiology. This affects directly to the aquaculture industry.
I'm doing a PhD in the melting Greenland ice sheet and its implications for the ocean. The melting Greenland ice sheet would produce fresh water that then goes into the ocean, locally affecting the ocean properties and therefore the currents, and also in terms of increased number of icebergs in the North Atlantic. This has a risk to shipping and any other sort of stationary structures in the ocean, such as oil rigs.
We know the oceans are changing incredibly quickly, and we all have a really key role to play in developing the solutions to some of those problems.
It's actually quite incredible to think that when you change one thing, how many other things change. One of the biggest things we need to do is keep the pace up. IUCN has a really important role to play. We're in a perfect position to connect the science to people on the ground, to agencies and to governments, and tackle this issue, because the next generation is not going to look back favourably if we don't do more now.
We request all the presenters who have registered for their presentations to share details in the chat box so that we can invite you for the presentations. So we have Mr. Pradeep, who would be presenting on prevention and treatment of rabies through community-based initiatives. You can unmute yourself, start your video and presentation. So as already introduced, Pradeep is an animal activist and also actively working on animal welfare. He is very closely associated even with our organization since a couple of years. Have been doing tremendous work in the field of animal welfare. We welcome you, Pradeep, for your presentation. You can unmute yourself, start your presentation. You are unmuted, but we can't hear you. Yeah, we can see you now.
Thank you, Ravindra sir. Sorry for the technical glitch. A very good evening, one and all. First of all, I would like to thank you for joining this international webinar on animal welfare and veterinary sciences. So, I sincerely appreciate your time. Since it's a weekend, but still you want to learn and join the session. So, without getting the delay, my name is Pradeep Pera, and I work for the animal welfare for the past close to 8 years. And much of the introduction has been shared by Ravindra sir. Thanks a lot, sir. And so let me share you my screen. Just a moment. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So we all know that rabies is a zoonotic disease, and it also which is causing innumerable suffering for both humans and animals. So today I would like to present the topic on prevention and treatment of rabies through community-based initiatives. Like how can we prevent rabies and how can also we treat the rabies through effective community practices. So before going to start it, we would like to see the basic definition of what actually is rabies. So rabies is a zoonotic disease. Again, it is caused by a virus. The name is Lasso virus. It's a bullet-shaped virus. So what actually is a zoonotic disease? So if you can say what actually is zoonotic disease. Zoonotic diseases are disease nothing but that spreads from animals to humans. Like COVID-19 you have seen. And also you can see the malaria, dengue. So these are all caused by animals through bite of it. So these are all zoonotic diseases. Even we have many other, almost 175 zoonotic diseases which originate from animals to humans because of the improper welfare measures. And other hand, so if you can go about rabies, what animals can get rabies? So basically, any warm-blooded animals can be infected with rabies. So even humans also get rabies by the bite of an infected animal. So here are the list of the mammals which actually cause due to rabies. One is dogs. More particularly, we have seen in Asia and African countries. So dog-mediated rabies is more prevalent. And cats, monkeys, bats, and foxes, raccoons, and jackals. Although mammals can get rabies, most are dead host. This means typically they can pass on rabies to the other animal. And the symptoms may vary, that we can cover symptoms from species to species, it will get varied. So among the dead host, humans, cattle, and donkeys are examples of dead end hosts. So before passing on to the symptom, like the disease to other animals, so they actually end there only. Some mammals are considered as a reservoir species, which can they pass from one animals to another. So basically, dogs are also one of the reservoirs. So cats, monkeys are also reservoirs for rabies. So as I mentioned you, some mammals are considered as a reservoir. They act as a something like a carrier. They act as a carrier and spread their disease from one way to other. As I told you, domestic dogs normally, that may be free roaming dogs, community dogs, that means which are unvaccinated, they have the higher chance of getting rabies. And dog-mediated rabies is one of the most prevalent thing across Asia and African countries. And most of the these dogs are becoming a reservoir for rabies and affecting both animals are also getting affected and humans are also getting affected. On the other hand, jackals, foxes, skunks, and raccoons are some of the reservoir species, but there is no specific data, like there are very little such cases recorded in it when compared to the dog-mediated rabies. Did you know that while bats can get rabies to humans, but most of the human cases, when compared to the dog-mediated rabies, they are less prevalent. And other hand, the snakes, birds, and fishes, they cannot get rabies because they are not mammals. So if we can see how big is the rabies problem, we can see that across the globe, you can see the orange color identified. This is the exact area. If you can see that Asian countries like Africa and also India. So these are the most prevalent countries which is becoming affected due to rabies. The human deaths across Asia country, if you can take it, about 1 in 9 members. It is estimated that about 15,000 live economic human deaths occur every year due to the rabies. And most of the people are living in poor rural communities in Africa and Asia. So if we can put in one perspective, one person dies somewhere across the world in every 9 minutes. In addition to the human deaths, it is also estimated that many of the hundreds and thousands of animals die due to the rabies, leaving endless suffering for the owners. So it could be someone like individual families, like farmers, they have the cattle, which is source of their livelihood, and also pet dogs, they're also companionship. So it is not only affecting human lives, but also affecting animal lives also. How do people and animals get disease? Most of the people think that rabies is caused by dog bites. Yes, it is caused by the dog bites. That means it is caused due to the bite of the infected animal. Specifically, it is spread through the saliva. Whenever an animal infected with rabies, even the saliva of an infected animal can also spread this virus. As such, people get if the infected animal bites, licks, scratches them, even the saliva in the paws intact, like if you can see the dog paws. So such times it will spread rabies. And if you have open wounds also, sometimes it can also get rabies. And sometimes contact with mucous membranes, such as a pus, can also people can get the rabies. As you see that rabies is passed through the saliva of infected animal, but rabies cannot be caused by the contact with blood, urine, and feces of the animal. So there is no that scientific evidence for that. So what happens when a person is exposed to an animal? When someone is exposed to a rabies, they will not immediately display the symptoms. So the virus will slowly move towards the brain. Again, it is based on the immunity resistances above the individual. Once the virus reaches the brain, the symptoms will appear. During the exposure and rabies symptoms appears, there is a specific duration, the time, which we usually call as incubation period. That means the time between the exposure and the time between the symptoms appear. These are usually called as incubation period. During the incubation period, the symptoms, one person to person, it may vary. So some will have the early symptoms, some may not have the early symptoms too. It is dependent upon the immunity levels of an individual. So normally in human incubation period, the period, as you told me, exposure and the time for appearing the symptoms is normally it's vary between 1 to 3 months. And sometimes there will be less than a week also, even more than a year also it will take some. So it depends upon where exactly the animal bite has been happened, the person's immunity resistance, how will he respond to the treatment, many other parameters are involved. So how much the virus is deposited in the wound during the exposure. So what are the symptoms of a rabies in a human being? When you can generally see that, as I told you, during the incubation period, after the incubation period also, not every symptoms will be displayed to the human being. It is basically based on the wounds and also immunity resistance. But here are a list of symptoms in order to identify that these are the particular symptoms that a human being, when he have been bitten by a rabid dog, here are the few symptoms. One is fever. A person will have a heavy fever, headache, generally feeling unwell, and also there will be a pain or unusually tickling sensation, prickling sensation, or burning sensation at the site of the bite, especially when there is a bite, when there is a bite of this scratch, the scratch of an infected animal. So at that particular area, the person will have that tickling sensation, burning sensation also. So, and it is not, it could be like if they are fever, if the symptoms, it may be normally the person is experiencing a viral fever. So these are also little bit different. So, and as the symptoms progresses, if the person is not taking the doses of the immunoglobulin vaccine and along the rabies vaccines, so the potential threat will be the patient will drop into coma stage. So most of the cases, in 99%, if the victim slips into the coma stage, the person will die, because as the symptom progresses, there is no cure for the rabies. Because before the prior vaccination, there could be a chance of survival, but once the symptoms appear, then it is highly unlikely that death is inevitable for that person. So here are the symptoms of illustrated, which is a human being will get symptoms of a rabies. One is, as I mentioned you, headache, fever, fatigue, tickling sensation in the ear, hallucinations, and most importantly, hydrophobia. The person will be fear of water, which is one of the, and he will get aggression, and he will have the light sensitivity, like if he is fear of light, and certain symptoms like insomnia, excessive salivation. They have this excessive salivation too. So these are the one of the symptoms which normally when a dog has been bitten a person, these are the set of symptoms we need to remember. As I told you that rabies cannot be cured once the symptoms appear, but the comfortably medicine, a temporary medicine will be given, but that to confirm the victim and their family. But how long it can be continued is we cannot know, because as the symptoms progresses, ultimately the person slips into coma stage and they will be death is inevitable. So we have seen that what is rabies, what are actually animals causing rabies, and what is the reservoir of rabies, what are actually symptoms, how the person will experience the symptoms. And now you are going to talk about how the animals, we have seen how humans are experiencing rabies symptoms. Similarly, animals also, like humans, animals also have the incubation period. So normally, if you take a companion animals like dogs and cats, usually they show the symptoms between 2 weeks to 3 months. But the sign can appear within 10 days also. Maria Jones, you have raised your hand. Do you want to say anything, madam?
Then continue, Pradeep. I think it's mistake.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Confirm. The incubation period in other mammals can differ, because for cats and dogs, usually I stand for 2 weeks and 3 months. The incubation period, as I told you, is for the symptoms and exposure. So during this time, in species to species, it will vary. For larger animals like livestock, for example, cattle, they have the longer incubation time, depending upon their size and their immunity. So here is a illustration of how rabies symptoms in dogs can be. These are the blind spots. You need to understand that if your dog has an excessive salivation and excessive lethargy, that means if it is panting excessively, and if he is having a lethargic, that he is but tired, and also change in a behavior. Again, the change in a behavior means the most aggressive dog can become a friendly dog, and the most friendly dog will also become an aggressive dog. And if a dog is biting aggressively for no reason, and here there is a subtle difference also. Aggressiveness means that is an innate birth imprint which is caused for the dog, that is different. And if it has developed during the due course of time, during the months, maybe 6 months or 9 months, it has got an exposure, it is started to bite like people, objects, and animals. In that case, you should have to be a little bit cautious. And the dog having hallucinations and sensitivity to light, as mentioned in the previous slides also, how this humans will have sensitivity to the light. So these are also having this, animals are also sensitive to light. And sometimes the dogs will have paralysis condition and hydrophobia. These also for animals also, there will be their fear of water. So they, and abnormal vocalization, that means they make a different sounds and not according to the natural, not a natural thing. A little bit of abnormal sound will be there for the dog. So in such cases, it is highly recommended to be safe side. You can inform to the local authorities or else in the nearby animal welfare organization. Or if you don't have the both of them, then you can approach the district animal welfare, district animal husbandry department, where they will safely capture the dog and they observe the symptoms for 14 days. If the till 14 days the symptoms are there, 15th day the animal will die, because as in dogs it is more prevalent. And unfortunately, for any disease, there is a disease surveillance mechanism. For rabies, the animal has died only, we can check the it is a rabid infected animal through a various methods. One is the straw method, regularly uses it. And so if a person is expected with a rabid animal, it is one thing is that he should, the coming slides I will show about it. I'm generally speaking, it is highly that you should wash the wound with soap and water for 15 minutes. And also you can also use any povidone or any other antiseptic things. So then you can reach to the nearest primary healthcare center to get a TT injection, that is tetanus injection. Along with that, we have that RIG, which we called as rabies immunoglobulin injection. We like the primary healthcare center, the doctor will check with the wound criteria. We have the 3 types of wound criteria too. One is normal, like it's okay, small scratch or anything. Abrasions are there. So any other things, they will check intensity of the wound criteria. They will give this vaccine. But it is a must and should that once you are bitten by a dog, you should to take the vaccine. So now we have seen that what is actually rabies, how it is caused to humans, and also how the symptoms in humans, and also the symptoms in animals, especially in the dogs. Now, coming to the point, as prevention is better than cure, how we should prevent, how should avoid into getting dog bites. While as we told that rabies can be spread by licks and scratches, the even dog bites from the potential infected dogs are most common way for the rabies spread of the disease. One of the best way to avoid getting rabies is to avoid getting bitten by dogs. This is very important. Everyone, it is must and should that they should learn how to protect ourselves from the dog bites, especially children, because children are very curious. They try to go and play with the dogs. They'll pull the dog ears, sometimes pull the tail. Oh, to be a little bit funny, but it's a dog. At the end of the day, it is a dog. It is not a human being, and it cannot know like what we are, what the language, in what language you are communicating, but it will understand it. So it is more important. Children are bitten by a dog. So it is, these are the 3 reasons. 3 reasons. First thing, they like to play with animals, because children are playing paper. They like to play with animals. There's nothing wrong with it, but there should be some supervision. Parent supervision should be there, or any guardian supervision should be there, and recognize behavior of the dogs so that you can take the child away from the animal, and they are less able to protect themselves. Unlike adults, children cannot be protect themselves because they are not aware of the animal behavior, especially dog behavior. When they are attacked, they receive more serious bites. And third most common thing is, even they get bitten by the dogs, they hide from the parents, they hide from the elders, and this is the cause. Most at the extreme cases, they fell into coma and they die also. So it's a humble request for the parents or anyone, like if their children is, don't scare them, because they are children, and they let them openly communicate, let them say about it, and teach them about how to be safe around with animals. And we organize some awareness programs in education institutions to bridge this gap and to be safe with animals and to be compassionate with animals, because it is we belong to India, and our culture talks about ahimsa and virtue and values. So we have to inculcate that thing. So schools, they play one important role, but as a parent, it is your responsibility to, in order to, instead of installing fear in about animals, you can say that you can be compassionate towards that, but you should also be a little bit careful how the animal is behaving. So these are the things you should teach at the home. If you can teach them, then they will be know, and they can also become protective, and at the same time they can be compassionate too. And foremost thing is, all dogs can bite you, no matter what. It's a pet dog or a community dog, but that doesn't mean that all dogs are dangerous or against to human beings. The thing is that, like human beings, they also have emotions. They have also having some boundaries. If they are getting irritated or they are in stress, if you approach the animal at that time, he may either run away, he will bark, and the dog will run away. Even at the time, if you are chasing the dog, means you need to you are highly that you may get bitten. It may experience a stress situation. Stress, normally humans also we face, even it is for animals too. They also have this criteria, like they can experience pain, hunger, everything. Like 5 freedoms are there. In the coming slides, I will talk about all 5 freedoms for animals. So, and the things we need to know is what causes them the stress. Why a dog is behaving, why the most friendly dog is biting an individual. There are 2 cases. One I have mentioned earlier, that is one is having a rabies symptoms, and other thing is provoked behavior. If you are going on a road, if you go and hit an animal, in order to protect himself, I mean to say, in order for the protection, at the time, the dog will exhibit an aggressive behavior. It will try to bite also, because it's a defensive mechanism, where in human beings also, if someone is hitting, we try to defend ourselves, right? Even defend other person also. Similarly, they are canines. They only know to communicate only through barking sound, or a wagging tail, or a growling teeth. These are all the things. When they are displaying a growling teeth, means you need to understand, okay, it is in a very angry mood, let us not disturb. You just go away. After few seconds, it will get normalized and it will be fine. It will wag your tail, it will come to you, but you need to observe your dog, how it is feeling, what actually it is undergoing, because it is an animal. It is not like a human being where it cannot talk. So here are the interventions normally for rabies prevention and also eradication of the disease. So first is education and awareness. Education and awareness of anything, not only rabies, any disease is primarily essential, because lack of awareness, lack of education initiatives, which is leading to the cause for increase in the rabies deaths, either in the animals or humans. And at the same time, sterilization and anti-rabies vaccination. Sterilization means it's animal birth control program, which government of India has initiated this, and by the time they are doing the animal birth control program, they also give the anti-rabies vaccination to protect the dog from against rabies. Another thing is disease surveillance mechanism. Lack of disease surveillance mechanism, like when a dog is infected rabies, so instead of observing the dog, there are no such proper disease mechanisms. And fourth most thing is responsible feeding of the dogs and responsible pet ownerships. We are going to cover one by one. So firstly, we will talk about education and awareness. So as whenever a dog is biting, here are the several symptoms you need to see. First and foremost thing is when it is uncomfortable and you are having, let's say for example, if you are conversing with a human being, if he or she is feeling little bit uncomfortable, do you think that he will communicate? No, right? He will not communicate. He will go away. Still, if you want to communicate, he will get angry. Some people will also hit the person, beat the person, because they are sincerely told that I am not comfortable in communicating. Similarly, for a dog also, it will display several symptoms before biting. That hey, I am uncomfortable. Please don't disturb me in this canine word. So it will communicate. So first thing is when you are feeding a dog, make sure that never and ever take the football. Please say to your children also, never and ever take the football when a dog is eating the food, because it will think that it is like treating that it's my property. Like how we feel that we feel that it is my home, my area, my locality. How humans will feel. Similarly, the dog will also mark it that it is my ball, it is my food. Let me eat the food. You don't disturb me. If you in a state of excitement, unintentionally you touch the ball, means you will be highly getting a chance that you may get bitten. So never and ever touch a dog when it is eating, or whenever a dog is eating a food in football also. Never take that courageous step to take the ball. Sometimes it may get some dogs may get irritated also, because a dog to dog it is very different. And don't frighten a dog by grabbing it. Especially for children, they will do is they will sit on a dog. They think that it's a horse. Never do that. Please never do that. Because it's a dog, you never know how it will react. If it is getting uncomfortable, it will definitely bite the child. So these are the things mostly parents has to take care. And don't surprise the sleeping dogs. Imagine if a person is sleeping, you suddenly go there and shout at the ear. You'll get shocked and you'll get an anxiety. You get in panic because he was in deep sleep. Similarly, don't surprise a dog when it is sleeping, because it get it will not know actually. It doesn't know actually how to react. So what we call as flight or fight response. So in that cases, there would be chances you may get bitten. And don't play with a dog when it is with puppies, because it is highly protective for the puppies. Even don't take the puppies also. You may see that puppies are cute. Let me take about them from the mother dog. Unless until it is very friendly dog, unless until it is accepting, that's a different issue. But never take the puppies while the mother dog is feeding them, especially they are feeding them, because it will act as a protective guard for them. Even it will bite so aggressively. So never do that. So children, this is one of the picture which is taken from GARC, Global Alliance for Rabies Control. So here you can see that children are educated about dog bite prevention, like how to be safe around with animals. And when you are petting on a dog, especially for children or anyone, it's best to, it's a polite etiquette to ask the pet owner whether it is okay to touch the dog or whether it's okay to approach it, because he or she knows better when a dog will get aggressive, when a dog can be friendly. So it is always good gesture that and also it is also safe for you. When you are approaching any dog, you approach the owner first. Ask them politely, is it okay? Can I pet the dog? Is it okay? Is it a friendly dog? He said, okay, it is okay. You can pet him. Then allow the dog to first come to you. Just allow the dog to sniff. After sniffing that, the dog will feel, okay, he is not that danger. Okay, let us allow him. In that way, calmly and gently, you can communicate that. You have seen that all the things, what are the, till now we have seen about how the dog like behavior is and how the, but what about the unknown dogs are there? There are classification, you see, we have pet dogs, we have community dogs, that is friendly dogs. There are also unknown dogs, that means feral dogs, which don't belong to your community. What should you have to do in that such cases? Just because a dog is not known to a person, it doesn't mean that it is aggressive and more likely to bite a people. If a dog is not friendly also, don't think that it might be an aggressive dog. Because it's something like, if you don't know a person, suspecting that he's a bad boy, bad person, we cannot judge, right? Similarly for the dog also. But however, learning about dog body language is very important to identify the aggressive dogs first. How it is stressed, is it stressed or is it avoided, or like what things should be avoided? Here are the dogs should be avoided. Dogs that appear scared. If you notice any unknown dog, if the first and foremost thing is either they have a fearful or aggressive. They at that particular stages, don't ever approach the dog, because the dogs will get scared and sometimes will become aggressive also. So what actually they show the symptoms is they will be appearing restlessness, and the tail will also in between the legs and pointing straight away down, and appearing they'll show the growling teeth like this. I'm just giving an illustration. So how we get angry when we show our teeth, right? When we show our growling teeth. Similarly, the dog will also show the growling teeth and it will run away. At that time, don't touch the animal, don't approach it, let it be. And if you are unsure whether the dog can be safely approached, don't attempt to approach the dog. And here you can see the indicator is illustrating like how to be. The first thing is you should stand like a tree. whenever an aggressive or unknown dog is there, you should stand like a tree. That posture which tells the dog that, okay, it is harmless. Let me sniff and it will go away. It is one of the safest method. And the other thing is, don't maintain eye contact. If you can see the picture also, these children are not maintaining any eye contact. They're just normal. They are calm. Similarly, you should also stand like a tree whenever an aggressive dog approaches you. As I told you that pretending like a tree, it is to avoid aggressive dogs. And those with rabies are uncontrollable. So at that time, you can take any, like, they can take any book or anything happen. Just even at that case, they may try to drag you. So that is an extreme case. So if that case also is there, try to curl up like a ball, like a stone. How you maybe you can see this image, which can help you out. You can see that children are sitting and they are curling up like a rock. So this will also tell the dog that they are non-aggressive and they are okay. So certain situations, this will prevent the vital organs, like by sitting like this posture, it will protect the dog from biting dog, especially vital organs. Instead of doing all this also, even mostly, but if you are experiencing a dog bite, first thing is, please wash the wound with soap and running water for 15 minutes. By doing so, 90% of the bacteria will be gone. And secondly, disinfect the wound with alcohol or any iodine solution. Immediately consult a doctor. Either you have a private facility, private doctor, maybe you can go to the nearby any healthcare facility, whether it's private, government, doesn't matter. But please ensure that we got all the necessary vaccinations, including, that is, initially it was 5, now they have reduced to 4 injections, along with the RAG, that is rabies immunoglobulin injection. Now, as I mentioned about the responsibility of community feeders and pet owners in elimination of rabies is very important. When you are feeding a dog, make sure that yesterday, my previous presentation also yesterday, I mentioned specifically emphasized about how much an animal should feed, what actually it is feeding. Should it is okay that to feed the dog, that you should take care of it. And second foremost thing is, providing food and water is good. It is kind of compassionate grounds. It is very good, acceptable. But at the same time, providing vaccination is very much important, especially to fight against rabies. If you vaccinate the dog, you are not only protecting the dog health, but also you are protecting the entire community health also, including yourself also. And normally, if you see the classification of dogs, we have pet dogs. These are owned by the owner. Community dogs are not owned by anyone. These are sometimes we can call as Ramu, Chintu. You can have different names where the community people call them up by names, different names. So they are very friendly. They are fed by community people. So they don't carry any food, but they give whatever their leftovers are there. Understand how much the animal is needed, what condition animal is needed, and you can feed the dogs which are unhealthy. I mean, they are not in a good state of health, then you can feed it. And also the whelping mothers, suppose if a dog has given a birth to puppies, they need extra care. At that time you give them. If the dog is injured, so you can also give them the food, because protein food is needed like till it gets into recovery. Medication are there, so you can give them. And here are the 5 freedoms of animal. Providing nutrition is very important, and that doesn't mean that dumping the food on the ground. Please don't do that. That is that comes under over compassion. Please kindly don't do that. And providing good food, good nutrition. That means if you are keeping food in the bowl, make sure that it is clean. Wait that till the animal food is completed, because sometimes feeding an animals, what actually happens, there will be pack of dogs. We never know that with they are being hungry with the intent of there will be having food aggression issues also. At that time, you may also get bitten. Even the public also get bitten. So make sure that when you are feeding the dogs, select a place which is free from public. I mean to say free from public means less congestion, less public congestion, less traffic congestion, not from the children area or public parks. So select a designated feeding spot where you can feed an animal. Select only few group of dogs, especially whether the rest of the dogs, they can anyway get the food because they have this innate characteristics. That's why Indian Parai dogs are very agile. They can go and they can fetch the food. So you don't need to feed dogs daily based on the needs. They are sick, they need extra care. Then at time, and good environment is necessary, because sometimes the animals also during the rainy season, floods, they get drenched in rain. At that time, please open your gates, let them rest in, give some anything, safe place can provide from, give some warmth, any bedsheet or any old bedsheet you can give them, let them rest. Once the rain is come down, then they will anyway open the gate, they will go away. And good health. This is very important. Food and water, environment is important, but health is wealth. It is for animals also. So make sure that you, if you've seen any dog injured, as a community feeder, take the help of, if you are not able to catch the animal, take the help of the animal welfare organizations, take the help of municipality. You can even you can take to the veterinary hospital. If the animal is friendly, it is approachable, you can take to the veterinary hospital. They can also provide the treatment. At that time, you can give the necessary vaccination. Basically, 2 vaccinations are generally given. One is 7-in-1 vaccination, anti-rabies vaccination. There are several other vaccinations, but generally, mostly, these are the 2 vaccines which was given. One is 7-in-1 vaccine, 7 diseases, 1 vaccine, and preventing rabies. And appropriate behavior. If you are pet dog, if you are community dog, make sure that you are not giving any suffering to them. Let them be, approach the animal gently, because it's a dog. Let the dog be a dog. Don't make it a human being. Don't expect the response from a dog to be like a human being. It's a canine, let it be a dog. And positive experience. Try to provide a safe place for the animals, so that you can be also, they also be healthy to, providing all the good nutrition, good environment, good health, appropriate behavior, and positive experience. That means free from stress and pain. Then definitely the dog will also be polite towards you. It is actually behaving a better etiquette also. It all depends on how well you take care of the animal. So I am feeding 200 dogs, but I never touch a dog. I am scared. Please try to, we are feeding the dog to be friendly with them, so that you can get sterilized, you can get them vaccinated against rabies. So as a community feeder, please try to do that. Not all animals can need food. Only the dogs which are sick, injured, and whelping mothers. These are the animals which need food and water. Water is essential, but make sure that don't keep the water 3-4 days, where we'll get a mosquito larva eggs. So please don't do that. Wash it alternative day. Keep fresh bowl of water. So that, and at that time you can mention your name also in the water bowl, because most of the time in municipal workers, anyone, any sewerage or municipality or anyone people, they actually do the things, right? They take away the bowls. So in order to avoid that, you write your name, you write your contact number, so that they will realize, okay, this is someone else, that they let it for the dog. So they will also keep that. Even if you are feeding animals, if you are friendly, in the collar, you can place a small collar, write your name and contact number. Maybe they can, community people also understand that these animals are taken care properly. You are providing vaccination, you are providing sterilization, you are providing good environment, good nutrition. Food means right set of food. What should be given, when it is given, how much it should be fed. These all things should be there. As I mentioned, vaccination is very important. Yearly vaccinations are very important for protecting your pet health and your health too. So normally, if you have belong to any village or anything, you can invite any animal welfare organizations, or even some individuals also help you out, individual rescuers or anyone. You can take care of them. You can pair up. You can conduct 6 static vaccinations. If you can see in the picture, it's a government organized one. So you can see that it's a stray dog, actually, how they have been spotted by a community person. So by vaccinating dogs against rabies, you are making communities healthier, and also dogs, especially, you are making them to be protective against rabies. In India, if you can see that Goa is the first state. Many of the states are there, Ooty, other states are also become. This is the Goa is the first state to become the rabies free in India. They have approached an intersectoral approaches. The municipality, the education department, the forest department, everyone. The intersectoral approach has been done by them. So now Goa has less dog bites, very limited, and it is free from rabies. Main problem in the control of rabies is lack of public awareness and about rabies and dog bites, lack of surveillance system. Unfortunately, we don't have that specific surveillance system of WHO, how much and what mechanism we have. Although Government of India has devised even WHO has said a 0 deaths by day 2030. Unless until public awareness and surveillance system is there, and at the same time, one of the thing is lack of lab-based diagnosis setup. Even it is acceptable, it is accessible only for the metro cities. Even for if you can, because of that, there are also disease, lack of disease surveillance mechanism. There is no for diagnosis. This is one of the reason. Weakness in the control of rabies. Limited access to the vaccines for immunoglobulin vaccines. When a dog bite has happened, when there is a lack of immunoglobulin vaccines, what it happens is patient will die. Inadequate resources to carry out the animal birth control, anti-rabies vaccination, infrastructure cost. This is also one of the thing. And final thing is lack of intersector collaboration with the government sectors, NGO, veterinary department, health education department. Because one department, it's a holistic thing. If everyone works out, then the community will be free from rabies. Here are few recommendations. One is public awareness campaigns. It has to be there. And human education programs. That means under the children, school children under the age of 15 years. Like they should know about it. Like how the first aid should be there. Children also need to know how to be safe with animals, the dog body language, and also what should be need to be done in order to prevent dog bites. What actually has to be done when a dog has been bitten. So these things should be taught in schools as a subject. It is very much essential. And availability of lab-based diagnostic setup across all the district headquarters in India. full access to vaccines and immunoglobulin right from village level to city level. Active collaborations in all sectors, that is health, veterinary, forest, and education department. So these, if we can do, maybe as an individual orbit, organizations, anyone, civic responsibility like civil societies, if we can do that, and also capacity building programs. Mostly ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, they actually go and meet with public more. If you train them to be them, so that they can approach people, they can teach the people, like the way how in India has a malaria, dengue problem is there, dengue disease is there. But now everyone, they have a vaccine. Everyone, we can have a tablet, we can prevent the disease. Similarly, rabies is a vaccine preventable disease. Only thing is lack of awareness, lack of vaccination, and lack of lab-based diagnosis setup, lack of political will. What is also one thing? Lack of keeping political will aside, but rest of the things you can do it. If you are a school teacher, you can teach your children about the how to be safe around with animals, how to be compassionate. You can do that. If you are a veterinarian, you can conduct vaccination camps in villages. You can do that. And if you are from if you are a rescuer, to rescue animals, you can pair up with other people, conduct dog census. How many dogs are sterilized? How many dogs are vaccinated? You can see that there is a V-shaped cut. Normally, right here, there will be V-shaped cut. But it means, let's say the dog is sterilized. You can do a dog census. In coming days, if Ravindra sir allows me, I will also tell you how to conduct a dog census. How we can do that. In proper way, I can help you with that. So if everyone can collaborate, everyone can do our bit, we can eliminate rabies. No child should die due to rabies. No animal should die due to rabies. This is my motto, even WHO motto also. So this is one of the video I would like to play. Just a minute.
What if I told you we could eliminate one of the oldest diseases known to humankind? A disease that still kills. What if I told you we could eliminate one of the oldest diseases known to humankind? A disease that still kills a person every 9 minutes. We can prevent rabies by vaccinating dogs, by washing dog bite wounds thoroughly with soap and water, and by immediately seeking medical care after a dog bite. No child should die of rabies or be orphaned of disease. No family should suffer from rabies. To end human deaths from rabies, our time to act is now.
So hopefully everyone will take the lessons, whatever I have shared in the presentation. Maybe you can implement in your country, globally or regional level. We can use this. So let's ensure that we have a rabies-free society, and rabies-free, ensuring that India to be free from rabies-free India by 2030. As per the 0 deaths by 2030. No child should suffer from rabies. No animal should suffer from rabies. No family should be orphaned due to rabies. Thank you everyone for so patiently listening to me. And thank you Ravindra sir for giving this wonderful opportunity and creating such wonderful avenues. And I am very grateful to you, sir. Thank you everyone. If you have any feedback, you can raise your hand. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer you, or else you can also type in the chat box. Do whatever you can, but let's end the race. That's all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Pradeep. Very well presented. It's a need of the hour. That
Thank you,
when
sir.
we are interacting with the community animals, especially dogs, cats, these are very common animals, and dog bites are quite common.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is a very insightful presentation. Participants, if you have any queries, feel free to share in chat box. Also, you can raise your hand if you have. There are few messages from Dr. Akambi. Thank you, Pradeep, for beautiful presentation. And Tapas Kumar, wonderful sessions, and many more. Thank you for your appreciation.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your appreciation. We look forward for a rabies-free India. Thank you.
Congratulations, Pradeep. Once again, we wish you all the success in your future endeavors.
Sure, sir. Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
So with this, we will close today's sessions. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. The feedback form to mark your attendance for today has been shared in the form of chat box, in the form of votes. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the session. After filling the feedback form, you may leave the session. We wholeheartedly congratulate all the presenters and also express our gratitude to all the presenters and participants for the day, for joining us and gaining insights on animal welfare. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we'll be having 2 more days for the conference. We request those who have registered and those who are willing to make presentations to register and be present for the presentations. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. The feedback form has been shared in the form of polls. You can access it from the Zoom menu. After filling up the feedback form, you may leave the platform. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.